Hi everyone. It's a bit weird, but we'll go with it. So today we're going to talk about something that we're working on. But first, we're Realityloop, you can't see us, but I'm Brian, the director and founder, and Stuart, standing beside me, is the lead developer. And we're a Drupal shop based in Melbourne. Both have been working exclusively with Drupal since about 2006 and have done a fair bit in the community. So if you're in the community, you probably already know about us. So things that we care about primarily is good, strong development practices, high quality code, having good test coverage, making performance sites, and really good customer satisfaction. They're our sort of key tenets. Whoops, that went too fast. For the purpose of this talk, we think that Drupal frontend really sucks. And we also think that headless doesn't at all. It's really good. It's a breath of fresh air developing. And particularly we like single file components. And we think visual regression testing is a must, and using single components with visual regression makes it really awesome. This is an example of a site that's using components, and you'll see there's some squares inside because a component can use smaller components. And it's great because you nearly always have reusable things in a site, and components lend themselves to that really well. We find that they generally increase design consistency. We've had lots of instances where clients ask for a change on one page, and it really breaks design consistency. And if you're using components, then you have a method to encourage them to not do that and reasoning for why. We find them easier to develop, and they're generally easier and faster to write tests for. And then the advantages of the single file components for us is that the relevant CSS and JavaScript for the component is encapsulated within it, and it gives us scoping. So we can have CSS that's targeted only to what's in that component, and we know with surety it won't affect anything else on the site. Here's an example of a visual regression test. In our experience, in a lot of cases, visual regression tests are often done against full pages, but usually only certain full pages, like key areas. And we think that this leaves gaps in your visual regression coverage. And the reasons we think visual regression is great, because there's no way a person can afford the attention to detail that automation can over the life of a project, or even necessarily remember to test everything when they're only looking at a particular commit. You can execute them whenever you do commits or whenever you do merge requests, so it's automated. They show you immediately what's wrong with the page. And you can also use it as a tool to show clients when they request a change what effect that's going to have that they may not have realized. And then when you use components, and if you test your components, then if all of your components are being tested, then all of your pages are inherently being tested, for visual regression at least. So we think if you put visual regression tests, components in as part of the development process together, that it's really awesome. So in an ideal world, we think that you could upload the designs that come from a designer as your starting test reference images, so that developers could then develop code to meet what the visual design looks like. You would have real-time visual feedback while you're doing that to see what's happening. And all component variants would be shown. So, if we're doing responsive design, you have potentially, let's just say you've got 4 breakpoints. That's at least 4 images for every component. But then if you think about variants of images and different states, there's potentially heaps of images that need to be used as a reference while you're doing development. And we would like the creation of these tests to almost be free. So what we think is we need a test-driven IDE. So now time for us to demo it.
Okay, I'm just going to show you something that we've been working on for the last couple of months. Now, disclaimer, this is a developer version of a developer tool written by developers, so I would be shocked if you don't see any bugs today. It's also a live demo that requires internet connection, so if everyone could turn off your phones so we don't have to struggle for internet, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to show you this.